Guys, this isn't clickbait. My car has really been cloned. Before we get into things, hit the like button. It shows your support and it's really appreciated. Now then, let me start from the beginning. I was only aware of this situation 2 or 3 days ago now. So my fiance got the mail in. There's a few letters and there was one letter that stood out to me, and I wasn't really expecting anything that should look like this, so I thought, okay, this is a bit strange. Let's open it up anyway. And I was greeted with a fine. So I have the fine right here in front of me. This was, I'm not going to actually include any dates because this may or may not, I'm just not going to include any dates. But essentially, my car was spotted in, I don't even think it's a bus lane. It just says failing to comply with a prohibition on certain types of vehicle, in brackets motor vehicles. So essentially my car was spotted in an area where it shouldn't have been. And this, well, straight away I looked at the two photos and I thought, to be honest, they're quite far away. They wasn't very close up of the car. But then I noticed that's not my car. I noticed a couple of differences right away. So the rear tail lights, they were just standard rear tail lights. Mine on my BMW 130i, they are blacked out. They're actually blacked out from factory. I believe it's called the Dark Line edition. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, they were like that from factory. And also the registration plate. My registration plate on my BMW 130i has a GB badge on it. Not only that, it is in a plate holder. This car right here, there's no plate holder, there's no GB badge on the registration plate. Not only that, I think this car is a SE model, so it's not an M Sport. And it's also, I believe, an LCI, which mine is a pre-LCI. If you don't know what LCI, pre-LCI is pre-facelift, which is what mine is. I believe this is a facelift. So I was like, that's definitely not me. And then I checked the dates. The dates do not match up with when I was last in London. I believe I last drove in London probably, what, 6 months ago now or so. And this was actually on the same date that I picked up the BMW E46. Now you may be thinking, oh wait, so you did go near London. Well, I didn't really go near London. I went past London. I didn't go into London, but I didn't go, past London in my own car. I took a recovery truck, collected the car, and came back to my house. So yeah, my car was nowhere near London during this time. So yeah, it definitely wasn't me, and at that point I knew my car had been cloned. So of course I've done what you should do once you notice your car has been cloned. Contacted the police, and then they sent someone round the following day, and they actually looked at the photos, looked at my car and said, yeah, it's clear to see that your car has been cloned. And then they have placed some stickers on my car to basically to show to any ANPR cameras that my car is the legit car, and if this registration then flags up, pull them over or whatever. It's not the proper car. The VIN numbers are obviously not going to match and all the rest of it. So yeah, how long has this been going on for? I really don't know. Has this car been used for crime? Has it been used for, as a getaway car? Has it been used for fuel theft or anything like that? Or has it literally just been used to essentially gain free tax and free insurance and just be driving around without having to pay for those things. Realistically, somebody could have been driving around on my plates for years. We just don't know. Or it could have been just a one-day thing. Like I said, we don't know. Of course, all of my cars are, all over the internet, and they have the registration numbers displayed. I completely understand why people choose to cover up their registration numbers, but if I wanted to do that, it'd be a huge pain. Like, it'd be so difficult to do. And I think if somebody wants to take your registration, they'll take it anyway. There'll be ways and means of getting it. But it just goes to show that this is very common. This is the first time it's happened to me, but I'm guessing it happens, a lot of times on a daily basis. So, yeah, what do I have to say? The person that's done it is a scumbag. Pay for your own insurance, pay for your own tax. I'm not paying for you. You will be caught because obviously the police are now aware of this. And if you have found it off one of my YouTube videos, it's a pretty dumb move in my opinion. The fact that that car has been viewed, multiple millions of times at this point, it's going to be a very popular car, and people are probably going to recognize that registration, and they're going to put two and two together and think, that's a dodgy car. That is not the car that I saw off of a YouTube video. So yeah, pretty dumb move if you ask me. But yeah, I guess it just goes to show that this stuff is occurring on a daily basis. The policeman that came to our house said, yeah, this happens all the time. It could have just been used to steal fuel, or it could have been used for a much worse crime. But yeah, it should be taken care of. I obviously have appealed the fine. I have included the crime reference number and all the rest of it. So yeah, it should be all dealt with appropriately. Now then, a little word of advice. If you ever receive a fine or a penalty notice of any kind through the post, and it says, do not ignore this notice, you have to pay this fine, calm down. Take a couple of minutes to actually process things, because you are not always at fault. Have a think. Was I actually in that location at that time? Was I actually doing anything wrong? Because the minute you respond to the letter, respond to the allegation and say, yes, it was you at fault, you are then admitting guilt, and obviously you'll have to pay the fine and whatever else. But if that registration has been linked to any crimes, especially in the same area that the offence took place, you may be liable, or you may be digging yourself a big hole with regards to, being charged to much bigger and worser crimes. So honestly, if you ever receive a fine or a penalty notice through the post, just take your time, think about, was it actually you? If it doesn't even look like your car, obviously it's not you. But do your due diligence. Don't just accept it. Make sure it's definitely you, and if it is you, then chances are you probably will have to pay the fine. A lot of people say, especially if it is a private organisation, they'll just say, no, don't pay the fine, there's nothing they can do. If it's council, pay the fine, but if it's private, don't pay the fine. I completely disagree with this. If it's like a £30 or £40 fine, just pay it. There's no point having something like that, hang over your head. They can take you to court. They can, send debt collectors and all that. So there's no point having something minor like that hang over you for years to come. But obviously, if you were not at that place and time, and it wasn't even you at fault, then obviously don't say it was you. But yeah, this has been a little story time. Hopefully it has been insightful to a few of you out there. And yeah, pretty crappy situation to be in, but I'm sure we'll get things sorted. Hopefully you all have enjoyed this video anyway. Please give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.